Every culture has its myths, every nation has its legends. But in our modern world, some of the most enduring stories are not about kings or heroes. They are about thieves, men who looked at walls, alarms, and locked vaults, and saw not barriers, but opportunities, heists. The word itself feels cinematic. It carries a promise that somewhere, somehow, the clever few can outsmart the powerful many. December 11, 1978. The air in New York is biting cold, but inside the Lufthansa terminal at JFK, cash shipments arrive every week from West Germany. Cash that should have gone to banks, armored cars, locked vaults. Instead, it became the target of one of the boldest robberies in American history.
Clock's ticking. Nobody messes this up. Get in, get it done.
In minutes, they had subdued the staff. No alarms tripped, no shots fired, no chaos, just cold surgical precision. They left with $5 million in cash, $1 million in jewels. In today's money, more than $25 million. It was flawless, too flawless. Because in crime, perfection doesn't last. Soon, the men behind the heist started disappearing, one by one. Bodies turned up in dumpsters, friends betrayed friends. The mastermind, Jimmy Burke, ordered killings to keep others silent. And just like that, a clean heist turned into a bloodbath. Hollywood turned it into Goodfellas, but reality was darker, bloodier, and far less glamorous. In 2005, in the Brazilian city of Fortaleza, a gang opened what looked like a landscaping business. Lawns, soil, fertilizer, all a cover. But beneath the floor, something extraordinary was happening. They dug for 3 months. A tunnel, 256 feet long, reinforced with wood, equipped with electric lights, even air conditioning. Their destination, Banco Central. They emerged inside the bank's vault, and walked away with $70 million in cash. No alarms, no gunshots, not a single witness. But their success became their downfall. Gang members killed each other over shares, police uncovered bodies, arrests piled up, and yet, only a fraction of the money was ever recovered. In 2015, London discovered that crime is not a young man's game. A gang of pensioners, average age over 60, pulled off Britain's largest burglary.
We may be old, but we still know how to break a wall.
They raided 73 deposit boxes, stealing cash, jewels, gold worth $200 million. It felt like Ocean's 11, but with Ocean's 11 OAP edition. They got caught. Their arrogance betrayed them. But for a brief moment, London's underworld watched in awe as old men proved age means nothing to ambition. (2003) Antwerp, Belgium. The most secure vault in the world. 10 layers of defense, heat detectors, infrared cameras, seismic alarms, impossible to crack. And yet, Leonardo Notarbartolo and his crew walked right in. In one night, they stole $100 million in diamonds. No alarms triggered, no suspects at first. It was called the heist of the century. One mistake, a sandwich tossed carelessly. DNA led police straight to Notarbartolo, but even with arrests, most of the diamonds vanished, forever. A mystery ending worthy of any Hollywood thriller. Heists fascinate us, because in them we see order turned upside down, security defeated, authority mocked. But while Hollywood ends with glamour and celebration, the real world ends with betrayal, blood, and broken dreams. Heists are thrilling, but they are lightning strikes. Quick, brilliant, and fleeting. Cartels are storms, empires built on blood, fear, and money. These were not small bands of criminals. These were kings without crowns, generals without armies, tyrants without thrones, and their stories sound like entire trilogies of Hollywood films. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. To some he was a saint, to others, a devil. By 1989, Escobar's Medellin cartel supplied 80% of the world's cocaine. His fortune swelled to more than $30 billion. Forbes listed him among the richest men alive. His cash piles were so vast, rats chewed through millions every year. His accountants used $2,500 a month on rubber bands, just to bundle stacks of money.
Plata o plomo, silver or lead. You take my money, or you take my bullet.
Escobar bombed planes, ordered assassinations of judges, ministers, even presidential candidates. His war against the Colombian government left over 4,000 people dead. Entire neighborhoods feared his wrath, but others loved him. To the poor, he was Robin Hood. To the state, he was a terrorist, and yet, every empire meets its end. The king of cocaine died at 44, but in Colombia, his ghost still lingers in the barrios where people whisper his name. Joaquin Guzman Loera, known as El Chapo, Shorty, a man whose power came not only from drugs, but from his ability to vanish. In 2001, he escaped prison in a laundry cart. While police searched frantically, he rebuilt his Sinaloa cartel into the most powerful drug syndicate in the world. Then, in 2015, he did the impossible again. A mile-long tunnel dug beneath his prison cell, equipped with lighting, ventilation, even a modified motorcycle on rails for a quick getaway.
Se fue, he's gone.
El Chapo escaped twice, but the third time, his story ended differently. Today, he is locked in a U.S. Supermax prison, 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. A man who once ruled like a king, now silenced like a ghost. Long before Escobar, long before Chapo, there was Cosa Nostra, the Sicilian mafia, born in poverty, forged in blood, governed by silence. They infiltrated government, ran businesses, smuggled drugs. Their law was not written on paper, but in silence. Omerta, break the code, and you die.
In Sicily, nothing happens without Cosa Nostra. Nothing.
Cosa Nostra's power was absolute. When judges Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino dared to fight them, both were assassinated with bombs. Their murders shocked Italy. The mafia had declared war, not just on rivals, but on the state itself. While most cartels hide in shadows, Japan's yakuza live in plain sight. They have offices, they print business cards, they operate like corporations. But beneath the surface, they are one of the world's most feared syndicates. They control gambling, construction, entertainment, even politics. Their code mixes ancient samurai honor with modern ruthlessness.
We are not criminals, we are necessary.
Some Japanese view them as a necessary evil, keeping petty crime off the streets. Others see them as predators, feeding on desperation. Either way, the yakuza prove that crime does not always wear a mask. Sometimes, it wears a suit. Cartels and syndicates teach us one truth: crime is not always chaos. Sometimes it is an empire, structured, ruthless, built to last, but even the strongest empires fall to betrayal, bullets, or time. Not every crime is about money. Some are about silence, some are about power, and some are about secrets too dangerous to be kept alive. Across the globe, assassins have struck with methods so theatrical, so precise they sound less like reality, and more like the script of a spy thriller. September 7, 1978, Waterloo Bridge, London. Bulgarian defector Georgi Markov waits for a bus. A stranger brushes past him, a sharp pain in his leg. Hours later, Markov collapses. Within days, he is dead. The cause? A tiny pellet injected into his thigh through the tip of an umbrella. Inside, ricin, one of the deadliest poisons on Earth.
Make it quick, make it invisible, no trace.
This was not a robbery, not a feud. This was a state-sanctioned assassination, ordered by the Bulgarian secret police and likely assisted by the Soviet KGB. It sounded like the plot of a James Bond film, but it was real. And it sent a chilling message to every dissident in Europe: defy us, and nowhere is safe. February 13, 2017. At Kuala Lumpur Airport, travelers watched a scene that looked harmless. Two women laughed, joked, and suddenly smeared liquid across the face of a man. Within 20 minutes, Kim Jong-nam was dead. The liquid was VX nerve agent, banned by international law, capable of killing within minutes. The victim? The estranged half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
They told us it was a prank, a TV show. We didn't know.
The assassins claimed they thought it was part of a prank program. In truth, they had been used as pawns in an international plot. North Korea denied involvement, but the world knew. This was no prank. It was a political execution, staged in broad daylight, in front of cameras. November 1, 2006. Alexander Litvinenko, a former Russian spy turned whistleblower, sits in a London hotel sipping tea. Within hours, he is violently ill. Within weeks, he is dead. The poison? Polonium-210, a radioactive isotope so rare it could only come from a nuclear facility. His body literally became radioactive. Hospital staff who treated him were contaminated.
It was Putin. He has silenced me, but he cannot silence the truth.
Before his death, Litvinenko accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of ordering his assassination. British investigators agreed. Moscow denied it. It was a crime that read like science fiction. A man poisoned with nuclear material in the heart of London. But the fallout was real and deadly. October 2nd, 2018. Journalist Jamal Khashoggi enters the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He never comes out. Inside, what unfolded was not diplomacy, but murder. A hit team of 15 men waited inside. Within minutes, Khashoggi was strangled, dismembered, and removed in pieces. A crime so brutal, so audacious, it shocked the world.
We have recordings, voices, proof. The crime was ordered from the highest level.
Saudi Arabia initially denied everything, then shifted stories, eventually admitting it was a rogue operation. But the truth was clear. This was an assassination designed to silence a critic of the regime. Khashoggi's death wasn't just a murder, it was a warning, a message to every journalist, every dissident. Speak, and you may not live to finish your sentence. Spies and assassins prove one truth: crime is not always about money, sometimes it is about silence. And the weapons of silence, poisons, plots, assassinations, are as theatrical as any spy film. But unlike cinema, these deaths were not fiction. They were messages, written in blood. Not all crimes need guns, not all villains wear masks. Some use charm, some use paper, some use nothing but lies. Fraudsters and con artists have built empires from thin air. And their stories? They sound like Hollywood's cleverest capers. Except these scams were terrifyingly real. In 1964, Frank Abagnale Jr., just 16 years old, ran away from home. With nothing but his wits, he reinvented himself, again and again. Pilot, doctor, lawyer, professor. By the age of 21, he had cashed fake checks worth over $2.5 million.
Ma'am, I'm needed in the cockpit. Captain's orders.
Airlines believed him, hospitals let him pose as a doctor, courtrooms allowed him to pass as a lawyer, all without a degree, all without a license, all with nothing but confidence. His story became Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. But the real Frank Abagnale wasn't just a movie character. He was living proof that the greatest weapon a con man wields is belief. Fast forward to the 2010 S, a new kind of con, one built not on checks and passports, but on apps. Simon Leviev, the so-called Tinder swindler. He posed as the son of a billionaire diamond dealer, took women on lavish trips, showered them with gifts. Until one day, he claimed he was in danger. He needed money, just a loan, just for now.
My enemies, they're after me. Send me $30,000 now. It's the only way.
They believed him. Some emptied their savings, others took out loans. In total, Simon swindled women out of millions of dollars. He was arrested, served time, and today, he lives free, still flaunting wealth online. His victims remain in debt. He remains a symbol of how easily love can become a weapon. Some cons are small, some cons are personal. And then there was Bernie Madoff, the man who conned Wall Street itself. For decades, Madoff promised investors steady returns, no matter the market, no matter the crash, and people believed him. Billionaires, celebrities, charities, even banks poured their money in. In reality, Madoff was running the largest Ponzi scheme in history, $65 billion.
You're a genius, Bernie. Nobody else can guarantee 10% returns every year.
Just trust me, I take care of my people. In 2008, the scheme collapsed. Tens of thousands of investors were ruined, charities bankrupt, families destroyed. Madoff died in prison in 2021, but the wreckage of his con will echo for decades. And then there was the man who started it all, Charles Ponzi. The name so infamous it became the very definition of fraud, the Ponzi scheme. In 1920, Ponzi promised investors 50% profit in 45 days. Tens of thousands poured money into his scheme, and for a while, he paid them back. Not with profits, but with money from new investors.
This Ponzi fellow is a genius. We'll be rich before Christmas.
But when the scheme collapsed, thousands lost everything. Ponzi went to prison, but his name became eternal. The symbol of fraud, of false promises, of financial illusions that vanish overnight. Fraudsters don't need guns, they don't need armies, all they need is your trust. And when trust is broken, the damage is deeper than money. Because you don't just lose wealth, you lose faith in people, in systems, in the very idea of safety. Some crimes seek money, some seek power, but the darkest seek nothing but death itself. Serial killers are the world's most terrifying villains, unpredictable, remorseless, leaving behind puzzles that sometimes are never solved. (1888), London's East End. A monster stalked the night. They called him Jack the Ripper. He killed women swiftly, savagely, then disappeared into the fog. He taunted police with letters signed, "From Hell." He described his crimes with detail too accurate to be dismissed as fakes.
We are chasing a ghost. He slips through shadows like smoke.
5 women, mutilated, never avenged. The Ripper was never caught, and to this day London's fog still carries whispers of the faceless killer. (1960s California), a killer turned murder into a puzzle. He called himself Zodiac. He killed couples in cars. He hunted strangers. Then, he mailed taunts to police and journalists. His ciphers promised his identity. Some were cracked, some remain unsolved.
This is the Zodiac speaking. I like killing people. It's more fun than hunting wild game.
Despite decades of investigation, despite suspects and theories, Zodiac was never caught. Hollywood turned his story into films. But reality gave us something scarier. A killer who may have died quietly, never unmasked, never punished. In Italy, romance has always lived in the countryside. But in the 1970s and 80s, so did horror. They called him the Monster of Florence. He killed lovers, always in cars. 17 victims over nearly 2 decades. Theories abounded. Was it one man, a cult, a conspiracy? Suspects were arrested, trials were held, but the truth slipped away.
This case, it eats us alive. We chase shadows, and shadows kill again.
The monster of Florence remains a riddle. His crimes inspired novels, movies, even Hannibal Lecter stories. But behind the fiction lay real blood, real grief, real terror. Her name was Elizabeth Short, but Hollywood gave her a darker title, the Black Dahlia. She was young, beautiful, chasing stardom. Instead, she became one of America's most infamous murder victims. Her body was found mutilated, drained of blood, posed like a grotesque performance. The crime shocked Los Angeles. Hundreds of suspects, dozens of confessions, all false.
We are investigating everyone, but the Dahlia case remains open.
Her murder was never solved. Hollywood turned it into noir, but the truth was not stylized shadows, it was raw brutality. Serial killers leave more than bodies. They leave mysteries, codes, legends. Hollywood can write endings, but in reality, these stories remain unfinished, and the killers remain ghosts. Every crime tells a story. Some with a beginning, a middle, and an end. But the most haunting stories never end. Unsolved crimes leave behind only questions. Empty vaults, empty skies, empty frames, and the terrifying thought that somewhere out there, the culprit may still be free.